Hey y'all, Samantha, Sammy House, Rolls Swags Door Decor. Welcome. Today it's about yeast rolls. I did it again. These turned out so good. In the video, at the very beginning, I said I was going to probably do, I meant to say a voiceover, but anyway, I decided to do a little short video before I did the video and let you know what the ingredients are for number one, so grab a pen. Secondly, to explain a few things. Okay, so this is for yeast rolls, and you can look on YouTube, and I know this video will be there too shortly, as this is on Facebook first. But anyway, yeast rolls, this is my second time making them. The first time I did it by hand. So in learning, you know, when I did them by hand, I didn't knead them long enough. You need to knead them by hand for like really long time, like 10 plus minutes. It's a lot of work. I have arthritis, so that wasn't working for me. So I went and got my mixer with the dough hooks out of my storage unit. That worked better. But in the video, you're gonna see my mixer jumping around. The thing I think I didn't do that I should have done, even though they turned out great and they're good, is I should have mixed all the dough 1 cup at a time. Incorporate that 1 cup, add the next cup, incorporate it good, mix the next cup. Because I kind of added, you know, slowly, but it still was a lot for my beaters because it had not incorporated each cup at one time. So therefore, there's the reason why you're going to see that jumping around toward the end of that part. Okay, so the ingredients that I used in mine was 1 pack of active dry yeast. There is an instant, and I learned from another video that there is a yeast made for a bread maker. So be sure to read your labels, because I didn't know that either. But anyway, I used 1 pack of dry yeast, active dry yeast, 4 cups of all-purpose flour or bread flour. White lily is a big thing here in the South. But for some reason, Walmart didn't have all-purpose white lily, which was really weird. But anyway, so I bought a different brand because other than that other brand I bought, it was just Walmart. And I really wanted a better flour. So the one thing also is in your flour, there's protein. The more protein is the better for the yeast because it likes that protein. Okay. So also you're going to need a 1/3 cup of sugar and maybe a tablespoon to go with your yeast in a minute. So a 1/3 cup of sugar plus 1 tablespoon. 1 egg at room temperature. All your ingredients need to be room temperature, or as we'll say, hot and warm. You need 1 teaspoon of salt, a 1/2 stick or 1/4 of a cup of butter. Mine was softened, but soft is really fine because you're gonna add it to 1 cup of hot milk, which the hot milk will dissolve the butter, or you can just liquefy your butter, melt it, and pour it into your milk. 1/4 cup water, warm water, 110, not over 110 degrees. Or as they say, like baby's bath water. If you can touch it and it not burn you, great. That's what you want. If you don't have a temperature gauge, what do you call it? Thermometer. Words are hard. If you have a thermometer, great, because I went and bought one. Now, they're like, I don't know, $10 at Walmart or whatever. But like I said, if it's bath water temperature is what you want for your yeast. It has to be warm, but if it's too hot, you'll kill your yeast. So I'm gonna repeat just the ingredients one more time. 1 pack active dry yeast, 4 cups all-purpose flour or bread flour, a 1/3 cup sugar, 1 tablespoon sugar, 1 egg at room temperature, 1 teaspoon salt, a 1/2 stick, which is the same as a 1/4 of a cup of butter, soft or melted, 1 cup hot milk, whole milk, preferably. Some people did use evaporated. Suit yourself. A 1/4 of a cup of warm water up to 110 degrees. So I'll go through all that in the video of what I did. So, but I'm gonna write the directions and post it as well, whether it be in the description on Facebook or in YouTube. So I'll have that there. But I did want to just say that and give you all those directions up front. So thanks for watching, and be sure to share. Sharing is caring. And you know, these were good. So these do turn out well. In the video at the end, when I put the oil on you do want to have oil for your bowl at one point, and you're at the end when you go to put them on your pan. I probably put a little too much oil on my pan before I baked them. Just lightly grease your pan, because they kind of was still kind of soft. They were done, but they were kind of doughy on the bottom, but that was because I think I put too much oil. So don't overdo your oil when you go to bake them. Y'all have a great day. Thanks. Okay, hey y'all. I'll probably be talking over the video, but I have a 1/4 cup of water, warm, and this is measuring to be about 105-ish degrees, and you don't want it over 110, but you do need it warm for it to activate your yeast. So I'm at 103, 104, 105-ish, so that's good. Less is, you know, you'd rather it not. If it gets too hot, you're going to kill your yeast. So 104-ish is fine. So I'm going to take my water. Excuse me. I won't add my yeast to that. Hang on, y'all. I had everything right here, and then I had to move stuff around. Hang on. It's not easy. As long as I don't knock nothing off back there, we'll be good. I have 1 pack of original active dry yeast. 1 pack. We're going to add this to our water, and we're going to whisk. Now, some videos, most all videos, and most all directions, that's the wrong sugar, that's my sweetener. All of them say to add sugar to your yeast because that's what that yeast feeds on. So I'm going to add a tablespoon. And then I'm going to stir really good. And we're going to let this sit until it gets real foamy and bubbly. I hope I'm loud enough. Like I said, I'll probably talk over some of it. I don't know. We'll see. This is round 2. It's only the 2nd time I've made it, so there's that. All right, let me get the trash out the way. Oop, and drop it on the floor. Y'all. Okay. Then I have 1 cup of really hot milk. It's whole milk, 1 cup. 1 cup. And it's probably cooled off a little bit. I'm going to throw it back in the microwave for 1 second. Because we want it to melt our butter. Alright, so let me wipe that off. Off. Okay. Okay. My microwave is very strong. Okay, so now we're going to take our 1 cup of milk. We're going to set our yeast over here to the side and hope I don't knock it over. Then we're going to add our butter. A little spatula. I love these from Pampered Chef. That just splashed me in the nose. We're going to add that to our warm milk so that it's 1/4 cup or 1/2 stick. Okay. And we're wanting this to dissolve our butter. So you could liquefy your butter, you know, melt it, whatever. Let me get my whisk because that'll help. Okay. I've got a wax paper over here. I'm trying to keep everything on. Alright, so let's whisk that around. Alright, let's see what it says do next. I don't know. Okay. About 5 to 10 minutes, our yeast ought to be ready, okay? So, I've got our milk and our sugar. It says to add the salt. Add sugar. It says add all my sugar. We're going to put a total of 1/3 cup of sugar into our milk. Hold on, I got another scooper in here. So The first time, I think I really just didn't. I thought it might be the sugar, which it could have been. My other rolls, they just turned out more doughy like bread instead of like yeast rolls should. All right. I'm trying to make sure I stay on the camera. So we're going to add our sugar, third of a cup, half a stick of butter, or a quarter cup, to 1 cup of warm hot milk so it dissolves. And then my salt. Salt. And we need 1 teaspoon. I'm probably going to put 1.5-ish. If you don't want to add salt, if you're using salted butter, you may not want to add extra salt, but salt makes it better to me. All right, so I'm just going to add 1 and a touch more salt. Sorry. All right, and then we're going to mix this. Okay, we want it all just to be nice and mixed. All right, then it says we're going to beat an egg and we're going to add it to the milk after this has cooled because we don't want to cook our egg. Let me move this out the way. Listen, I've got 4 cups of all-purpose flour, and if Walmart had White Lily, I would have bought White Lily all-purpose. This is the only other brand of all-purpose that they had that wasn't their brand. And so I wanted a nicer brand. So this is what I have. I did sift it just because I sifted it. And so it would be finer and no clumps and it'll weigh better. You either weigh, weigh your ingredients, or I'll show you how to measure it out. But I do want to let you know it's all-purpose. You can't use self-rising. All right, so let me set this out the way. Let me set that out the way. All right, hang on. Let me get a sip of tea. I hope y'all are having a great day. It is actually Saturday. All right, so I'm just going to kind of keep stirring that a little bit. All right, so I do have 1 egg. Okay. And we don't want no shells. These are room temperature. You want everything room temp or warmish so your yeast will do faster and better. So I'm going to rinse my hands. Clean towel. Okay, then I need to get a fork. And we're going to beat our egg. Sorry. But you want to whisk it together really good. Okay? So that's ready. I'm just going to lay that right there just in case. So then, let's see how our yeast is starting. Oh yeah. The sugar, the yeast feeds on sugar. So that's why I went ahead and added a little bit to my mixture. See how it's foamy? That's what you want, but it's still doing. I don't know if you can see the lighter color. The camera probably is not that great. Plus my kitchen is a little dark. So there's that. All right, so we're gonna let this sit another minute. Okay, then in a large bowl, water, yeast, stir, milk. Okay, I just make sure I didn't miss nothing. While we're waiting on our yeast to finish boiling and foaming and whatever it's doing, I'm going to take my bowl that I'm going to be putting my dough in when we're done. Let me get this out of the way. Hang on, I'm coming back. Okay, so I have a glass bowl, and I'm going to take oil, just vegetable oil. Now some recipes call for oil. Did this one? I don't think so. No, it called for the butter. You can put oil or butter, by the way. They do different things to your bread. So right now what I'm going to do is grab a napkin, a paper towel. Oh, I got one. Sure. Here we go. I tried to be ready. Just want to make sure ain't nothing in my bowl, no dust, no nothing. Alright, so I'm just going to add some oil. This is going to be so when we get done with our bread and it needs to rise, your bowl will be prepped and ready. Okay, we're going to grease it all the way to the top. Okay, can't have too much, can't have too little. I'm going to add just a smidge more because it's sucked up into my napkin. Because when we get our bread in here, we're going to roll it around and cover both sides. So I'm just adding another little drizzle. Okay, just a little bit. Alright, so now, let me wash my hands. Excuse me. Alright, so now that this is oiled up, take that away. I have some plastic wrap. I'm just going to put it over my bowl for now because that's what we'll be using when we do cover it so it will rise. Okay, so I'm going to leave a little extra. Y'all, this right here used to be my go-to plastic wrap. I can't even tell you for how many years, but you can't find this exact one at Walmart no more. And the best thing about it is that when you microwave it or you stick it to anything, it just sucks to it. I love this wrap. And this is the old one that I had trouble with that wouldn't cut right. Alright, so I'm going to cover my bowl. Just one, to keep it clean, and two, to be ready. So we're going to set that to the side. And then, let's see. Oh, we're good. Look at this. Looky, looky. Can y'all see how much it's doubled? Actually, we started off with a quarter of water, warm water. We added 1 pack of yeast, and we added 1 tablespoon of sugar. And it has rose to 3/4. So it's really ready. So what we're going to do, to the yeast, we're going to add the milk mixture. And then our flour, 1 cup at a time. Let me make sure I got everything in there. My yeast, my flour, my sugar, my egg, my salt, my softened butter, whatever, hot milk, and 1/4 water. Alright, so now, let's stir this up again. Let me raise my lid up. Y'all, went and got my mixer out of my storage. I got to thinking, I was going to go buy me a mixer that had the dough hook. And I thought, I've got dough hooks. I remember dough hooks. Alright, so we're going to mix this up real good. We're going to pour it in our pan. We want to get all of it in there, y'all. Leave no man behind on this one. And the reason being is because you want all that yeast. Okay? Y'all, I'm talking like I know what I'm doing. I have watched so many videos for so many days trying to see what I did wrong. I think because I was doing it by hand, I think I really just didn't I didn't knead it enough by hand. Alright, so I'm going to mix this up. You don't want this really hot like it was in the beginning. So let's just dump. I know it ain't too hot, but if it's too hot, it's going to kill that yeast. Okay? So again, I'm going to turn on my thingy, and I'm just going to double check so we don't scramble eggs, nor do we kill our yeast. As long as it's not over 110, we're good. And it seems like we're going to be good. Yeah, we're good. We're good. We're in like Flynn. But y'all, I've watched so many videos. I've questioned so many things. You know, because once you make something, and I don't care what it is, cooking or crafting, either way, once you do something once, you kind of know what you might have done, what you didn't do. You know, you're looking for the answers to any mess up or what have you. All right, so let me get this cup out of the way. I'm just trying to keep it clean. All right, let's see. Then it says, after the milk cools, milk mixture, and then add in it. Now, one of the videos said something about adding your egg. No, I think it was adding the egg last, but I think everybody has pretty much put it in there as they go. So that's what we're going to do. Let me move this out the way. Alright. And then we're going to add our milk. Let's just mix this real lightly right here. But I went and got a thing out of storage. Y'all ain't use this. Now it said it would spin my bowl, but I don't see it spinning it. It said it would spin my bowl, maybe once I started it. It said it would adjust it to me, yeah. All right, we're gonna add our egg. I guess maybe as I crank up the fastness of the motor, it'll start spinning it faster depending on the speed setting I'm going. Let me put this in the dish, in the sink. So, put that there. And then, when you're adding flour, especially to recipes of yeast in bread making, this is the trick, they say. Where's my 1 cupper? Oh, right here. Now again, I have sifted this because I think it would be best. Is it a requirement? No. Now, you don't want to scoop it because then you become, you wind up with too much. Now I had a spoon, but I threw it in the sink because it was from the other day. So grab me a big spoon. Okay. What you want to do is you're dumping your flour into your cup. That way you're not packing it and making it more flour than it calls for. So I just leveled it off. I'm going to turn it on. And it says to add 1 cup at a time. Yeah, I was trying to make sure y'all can see. Let me see if I can scoot y'all a little closer so you can see into the bowl. And I'll scoot my bowl too. I don't know why it ain't turning that. All right, so let's get another cup. And I'm leveling it off. I don't know why it's not going around. So I'm going to help it. We're going to help it along. Maybe as it gets more consistent in the bowl, more stuff in it. There's no, it said it would do it on its own. So I don't know. Okay. That was 2. Now see, I took 4 cups of flour and sifted it, and I really wound up with a lot of flour because it was so packed from the store. Okay. Let's see if we can get this mixed up in there a little bit. I don't know. I'm going to have to check into why my bowl ain't spinning. I've had this forever. This was a 2006 or 7 model. It is a Sunbeam Mixmaster Heritage Series. That's all I know. It's been so long, y'all. I've had it put in the box. I've still got the box it come in. My mother-in-law from Tennessee bought me this, God, back in the 90s, y'all. And I really don't bake more than a regular basic cake. Come on, spin, Lord, spin. All right, so this is going to be cup 4. And I'm going to show y'all how much flour. Now, I did put maybe a half a cup more just because I wasn't sure. But, y'all, that's a lot of flour left in my bowl after sifting it, fluffing it, y'all. All right, so let's see if we can get this going. You don't want to overdo, but the thing is if you're doing it by hand, you need to knead it for about 10 minutes until it's very elasticy. I think that's what I didn't do. I did try to find me a big plastic scraper. Oh, that was cute. That was real cute. Y'all, hang on. Oh, I heard it kick in a little bit there. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. Maybe it goes this way. I don't know. Maybe it goes that way. I don't know. Anyway. I did put my dough back in there that fell out. The rest of the flour I'm not worried about. You will need a little extra when you go to turn it out, and you do need it just a second by hand. But if you're doing it completely by hand, which is what I did the first time, then you need to do it for 10 good minutes, and it'll become really elasticy. There's several good videos on YouTube that I've watched, but when I remembered I had this dough book I'm like, yeah, we're going to get that. Going to get it. Let me get this off my spoon as I sling it around. We want to mix all that in. And I am going to turn it up just a little, but not much. I don't know. You're not supposed to do it over 2, it said. I think I'm just not spinning my bowl. My bowl just ain't going. When it gets ready, when it's done kneading, it should wrap itself up on them beaters. I'm going to go to 3. See, it's inching. And I don't know which way it's wanting to go. This is clockwise. Is it supposed to go clockwise? I don't know, y'all. Again, I don't normally do any of this kind of baking. But that really shows you how pacted that flour was before I sifted it, because that's a lot of flour. That's a good 2 or 3 cups, probably 3. So you don't want to just scoop your measure in there. You want to spoon it into the measuring cup and then what do you call it? Level it off, y'all, with a knife, or I did the edge of the spoon handle. It's getting there. Oh, did I do it? Yeah, I did. I suppose I did. Do the 3rd cup? Yes, I did. She said, I'm going to turn it up a little bit. Because most of them just have that one big hook on their thing. This one, I have 2 hooks. So, and it says folding and kneading is 2. I kind of put it between 3 and 4. It may need a little more flour if it stays sticky, so I'm going to add a little bit more. I'm going to add just like a half a cup at a time because it's very sticky. Y'all see how it's still just sticky? So just a little, not even quite a half a cup. There you go. Once you make it once, you're going to recognize the consistency. Plus watching all these YouTube videos. Y'all, it's so hot in my kitchen. So that's another thing, is you want to make sure that your kitchen or wherever you put your dough. And one lady said she put it outside in the sun, which, okay, as long as you ain't got dogs or whatever, bugs, ants that's going to crawl up in there. Okay. Let me cut this off. See, that's getting there. But I want to take it and scrape the very bottom of my bowl. You'll see. So I just want to scrape all that down, get all that flour, okay, and then rake it off your spatula, whatever you're using. This is a Pampered Chef spatula, and y'all, it will get every crumb in a bowl, promise. The joke was kids hate it because there's no batter left. All right, so let's put it back on. We're going to go to 2. Maybe a little bit more. Just because I feel like it needs more. It seems like it's going this, yeah, counterclockwise. Maybe I don't need to make it rush. I just feel like everybody says speed 2. Speed 2 if you're mixing it here. And it just depends on when it comes together. And when it does, it should pull from the side of the bowl and up the beater. Okay? So I'm just going to help mine along. Because I feel like it's inching my bowl. But I just feel like it should be doing it a little bit better. I don't know. Maybe because I ain't never done it. I can't. Let me see. I wrote notes down about how long, but some people said they mixed it on 2 for like a minute, and then, did it another minute, and they did another 2 minutes. I know we've been sitting here for quite a few minutes doing it, but, whatever. Oh, so when we go to put our, I think you don't want too much flour because it'll mess it up. But I'm going to put that one little last sprinkle in there. and hope that really, because even when you're mixing it by hand and it's really sticky, you don't want it to be sticky. You want it to be on a little dry side, you know, not overly dry, don't get me wrong. You know, there it goes. I think that's what it needed, just another cup, half a cup is what I probably wound up putting in. So 4.5 total. But it also depends on your own weather, and it depends on the warmth of your house, you know. So there's a lot of factors at play. That's all I know. That's all I know, y'all. All right. I have got just a combination of videos that I have watched. I kind of took the recipe from several. So I can't pause, but I can stop the video, but I don't want to do that. I want y'all to see it in real time. So I'm going to let it keep going. It's almost there. As it pulls it together, it's trying to pull from the sides. So that's a good thing. I may just be rushing it, y'all. You know, this is only take 2, right? Let me rinse my hands while that's doing. So when it gets done and I go to put it in my bowl, I cover it with that plastic, and then I have 2 tea towels that I cover it up, and I stick it in my microwave. Below my microwave is a small toaster oven, convection oven, and so I use that. Sometimes the other day I turned the oven on because it makes the bottom of the microwave all good and hot too. So, or what I'm gonna do is put something in the microwave, warm up my microwave real good. Like you can put a wet towel or a bowl of water and warm your microwave up. That way I don't know. Let's see. I feel like it might need to be in there more. How do you know? See, it's still sticky, and it's not supposed to stick to your finger. So they said. So I'm going to do a touch more flour, just because it is still really sticky, and, you know, there's that. So just maybe a couple tablespoons more, because I don't want to put too much. But it's trying to come together. And I'm just scraping it down the bowl. I'm scraping it down my bowl. That way I can push it toward the center. Don't get your spatula in that hook. Okay. That's the way it really should be looking. Soft, pulled together, elasticy. Okay, that's really, I think that might be this is going to be the final, I believe. It looks like it. So, because I sifted that flour, you know, you can weigh it out. There's, you know, if you've got a food measure, scale, then you can measure out all your ingredients for a more accurate bake. You know, I have my scales that I ship with. I thought about bringing them in here, putting wax paper over it, but you know. Okay, this is looking good. This is looking really good. This is looking good. Y'all see how it's coming up? It's coming together. It should form its own ball, you know. There, yeah, I like that. That looks good. And then we're going to kind of do a little bit by hand, but not just, you know, mainly folding it and getting it ready to sit and rise. Now, once we do that, it's going to rise a little about an hour, okay? So that's really looking good. I want to do it just another minute so that flour right there on the top kind of gets mixed in real good. Okay, let me scrape it down. Hang on. There we go. Gooey, gooey, sticky. And it's going to have some stick. Okay, we're going to call it done. We're going to call it. That releases the beaters. Don't mash that. Okay. I think it looks fine. It's all real nice and warm. How's the milk and all that good stuff. All right, so let me take this off. Let me move this over out of the way. I'm going to bring my bowl back over. And this is glass. And you know, I like using this little mat, the little silicone mat. It did great the other day when I was using it. Okay. Way. All right, we're going to lightly surface flour surface your flour, y'all. Oh, do your hands too, just so the dough does not stick. Don't over flour. That's probably way too much. So you just don't want it to stick. So I'm gonna push some of it out. All right, let me. If I had that plastic scraper, I would use it. Walmart didn't have it. So I thought, well, we'll see. But now I will invest in one. I have 3 sizes of this, but at this point, I don't want to mess them all up. I'm almost done. All right, so let me show you. Pull this out. You could do it by your hands, but you know, I'm not doing all that because it'll wind up all under my fingernails, blah, blah, blah. So no. Okay. I'm hoping that this mixed enough. I don't know if over mixing it can make it tough, I think. I don't recall. Y'all hang on, I'm gonna look at something and I'll be right back. I don't think that's a pause. No, that took a screenshot. Hang on, we're back. All right, y'all. This says it needs to mix at medium speed for a good 6 to 10 minutes. So I'm going to put it back in here. Okay. And we're going to do it at a higher speed because it needs to be a little bit more elasticy. Is mine. Settle down there, look. Now look. Why is that jolting? Hold on. That shouldn't be jolting. I don't know. I have different. Let me put it in the middle. Or it's either all the way or all that way. It's either a small bowl or a big bowl. I don't know why it's jolting. So I'm going to do it at about 4. Just because I think it needs to go a little bit more to become more elasticy, because it should just start balling all up, okay, on its own, and it's really not. Let me aim y'all back down. Okay, I don't know why that's doing that. This says, stand mixer knead roll dough for about 6 to 10 minutes at medium or until the dough is smooth and elastic. Until it's smooth and elastic and slightly sticky but pulls from the side of the bowl. Over kneading can make it tough. Under kneading can result in rolls that aren't light and fluffy. So I think I didn't knead it enough the first time, and then that's why I'm like overly cautious right here, because I really think that was my problem to begin with the first time. They just were more bready the first time I did it, but again I was doing it completely by hand. And this right here, it really is starting to look right, and it's starting to pull away. I don't know why that bowl's jumping. I gotta figure that out. I really, am I on the point? No. Good gravy. Probably because it's thick. Okay. I'm just sitting here sweating. Okay. That is really looking good. It is making a ball. It is sticky, but it's pulling. I don't know, y'all. If you happen to know anything about why this is jumping, it may be because it is a thick dough and I got it on high or higher. Let me grab a paper towel. It sounds like a car fixing to sling a, what do you call it? Sling a rod. Okay. Ooh. It is so hot. Okay. We're going to call that done, because I don't want to overdo it. Okay. So we're going to call this done again. Wipe it off your beater. And see how my hooks are shaped? Hang on, I'll show you. Can y'all see that? That's how these hooks are shaped. It's not just one big curly hook. Oh my gravy. Hang on, I'm washing my hands off. I will have to edit that out, I'm sure. And if I forget, sorry. It is so hot. Okay, so again, we're going to lightly flour. I need to dry my hands better so that they don't get like ooey gooey from the flour. Okay, so now pour it out. This is the fun part. This is where the plastic scrapers come in real handy. Let me see if I can do it with the big one. My big one is more stiff because that little one, you know, it's small, so it wants to fold instead of scoop. See, it's still a little sticky, which that's what it says it will be. All right, get it all out. I wish I had one of those plastic bench scrapers. I've got a metal bench scraper, but the plastic ones really help you get out of the bowl. Okay, so y'all, I hate leaving anything behind. Leave nothing behind. All right, so let me set this out the way. All right, so now reflour my hands. Oh, that was cute. Y'all, if you do anything with flour, you know how that goes. All right, so what we're gonna do is we just wanna pull it together. Don't want all that flour. Let me put it back in my bowl or throw it on the counter. Okay. We don't want all that flour. Don't want all that flour. Don't over flour your thing. Let me do it on here. Okay. And If you roll it in a ball, tuck it. I'm trying to get some of that flour off, so that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Okay. It can be a little sticky, but that's okay, as long as it's not overly sticky. All right, now, here's my bowl. Let me set this right here, cover that up. Let me get our well-greased bowl, and I'm gonna go around. Yeah, I'm gonna do it again because it looks like it's splotchy and not like covered like I want it to be. I used butter the last time I did the other day when I did it. So don't do your bowl in butter when you go to let it rise. You want the oil. The oil helps it. Let me set that right there. I'm gonna use the back of my hand. We're gonna smear it all over the bowl again. Okay. Now we're gonna cover. We want our dough completely covered with the oil. Okay. So once that does, we want to tuck it and cover it. Okay. Now, I'm going to heat my microwave up real quick, and then I'm going to put tea towels over this. Let me show you my tea towels. Hang on. Let me rinse my hands real fast. Hang on. They always. So now, my tea towels that I use. That's not it. Or is it? No. Look at the tea towels. I had 2 of them. Okay. Maybe he snuck one out. Yeah, my old man. Alright, so then cover it with a towel. You just want to keep all that warmth in there. Put it in the warmest part of your kitchen. But you don't want it to be in. You can even turn your oven on for a few minutes and get it warm and cut it off. Don't get it over like 100 degrees warm. And then we're going to wait an hour or until it's doubled in size. 1 to 2. Okay? And I'll be back. Thanks. Let me show you one more thing. Okay. I want y'all to see where my dough is. Okay? So the dough is about halfway through the bowl. Okay? So I wanted to show you the difference. And I did find my double tea towels. They were in the drawer. But I'm going to use all of them. I did heat up my microwave for a couple minutes. And in it goes. See y'all back. Alright, y'all. We're back. Look. Why does my phone look even darker for some reason? Maybe because that's black. I don't know. Okay. Look. Y'all. It has been probably about an hour and 20-ish minutes. So, I'll set my towels right there. So now the fun part, y'all. Looks good. This is what it did last time. It looked great last time. Alright, sit. Punch it. Woo! Y'all. Take your frustration out. Alright. So, well, I caught myself wiping that off, but there's a little. I didn't want to wet it. But anyway, I'm going to put just a little bit of flour down and do my hands too. We just really don't want it to stick. Okay, so lightly, because you really are not trying to add flour to this. But what we do want to do is pull it in all the way around and tuck it. Okay. Now, put it on our flour surface. Set that out of the way. Now, we just want to, it's not sticky. As you see, my hands are not sticking to it, and that's exactly what you want. Okay? So, it does say to knead it just a second, because what you want to do is get the air out of it. Let me see how she said it. Punch and knead for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to cut it. But they do say to knead it just to get the current air out of it, because we're going to do this for a minute, and then we're going to divide it into equal pieces, and then we're going to put it on our greased pan, and let them rise for about 30 so minutes. They should double again. Yeah, this dough feels so much better than the first dough, y'all. I can tell because last time when I did this, like I said, I didn't have my machine, so I was doing it all by hand, and I kept having to add flour, which also messes up your dough. So with that, okay, so now this little baker mat I have, it does have, like if you was to cook cookies and that kind of thing. So you do have like little circles that you could go by, and I kind of did that on my last one. So I'm just kind of, my big circle in the middle of this, you know, you can use that too to kind of make sure you're like, you know, to get it as even as possible. Or you can use a kitchen scale, you know, whatever works for you. So like I said, just do it a couple of times just to get those current bubbles out, because as they say, you're fixing to put more bubbles in it. So we want to get rid of the old bubbles for the new bubbles. Okay, but don't overwork it. Okay, how pretty. That is so pretty. That is a pretty ball of dough. Okay, it is so pretty. That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. Glad I went and got my mixer. Now, I have a bench scraper, and I'm going to use it to cut. I'm just trying to make it even into this circle, just so I can kind of do it as proportionately as possible. They don't have to be exact. Like one lady said, look, people are not going to be sitting there judging the size of your rolls and such. They just want them to be, you know, they're going to be good, and that's all you got to worry about. And then so, but you can kind of get equal parts, you know, by cutting it and then recutting it. I don't know how many she said this would make. She said 18. So what I'm going to do is cutting that in half, and then we'll cut those in half again, I think. I don't know. Let me get my oil to do my pan. Hang on. Let me do this right here. All right. This is a Pampered Chef cast iron kind of pan too. I've had it a couple of years and I love it. It fits in my confection oven just right. So I also buttered my last casserole dish that I did, and I think that you should use oil. Okay. Some people say butter, some people say oil, but reading some of my notes and stuff, or listening to others making notes, the butter we're going to add before we do it. Let me see if I got that note handy. I think it's right here. Because I did Google some stuff, you know, before I started this time. So, you know, it's always something to learn. Always. Tips. Okay. It said, okay, I don't know. But I did make a note about putting oil down here and not butter. The butter has an effect on your dough versus the oil. So, and also it depends on, you know, putting it in the dough as far as when you're making the dough. But I think the oil just does a better job in what I've read. When placing the dough on the pan, baking them close together encourages them to rise upward. See, that's another thing, is I thought I might had put them too close together, but I don't think that's even a possibility. Yes, y'all, my hands stay so dry. Okay, so I'm gonna cut these again, and then that'll be about right. So cut them in half, and some of them's gonna look. That dough starts rising before we even get it all cut up. Actually, I made that one a little smaller. All right, so you just want to do them as even as possible. One, so they'll be close in size and bake evenly. Some of these look bigger than the other. All right, look, don't be afraid to take from one and put in the other. How many does that give me, though? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Okay, so whatever. Now, you can sit here and pinch them all under and do your little ball. And I did roll it on my mat because I do like, they shaped out great on my first pan, okay? But just go around and around. All you want to do is kind of get that bottom smooth, mainly the top, okay? And then I'm going to start with one in the middle, okay? This one I know is bigger than that one. And you can do this however. You can pinch these off and do them. And just kind of make you like a mushroom head by tucking the folds up under. And that's pretty much all you're doing. And then roll them. Some people roll the whole thing in their hand, and that's fine too. We do want to leave a little bit of space. And so, because they're going to rise. So, there's that. My old man's going to come back in, and I'm going to be in the middle of this. Hopefully, he don't know I'm filming. Yeah, that one's way different sizes. But, whatever. Look, you're just going to have, you know, maybe if they're smaller than some, they're just going to get a little dunner. That's fine. Look, I love bread. Yeah, he's back. He just had to run to the store. All right. Oh, get on there. Get up on there. You just want that top to be smooth. Tucking it under and roll. Now, once we do this, we're going to cover them and let them rise for about 30 plus minutes. And I'm going to be grilling some chicken tonight, so I'm going to be doing my chicken while this rises. And then by the time I get ready to put my food on the grill, that and he's trying to bribe me. I'm filming to upload, but he was going to walk in here on that. I'm like, no, stay out. All right, so now I don't know what I was saying. Oh, so then by the time I get all that prepped and somewhat ready, these will be ready to put in the oven. And these say, everybody says different numbers to bake it. Excuse me. It says, oh, I'm looking at notes instead of the recipe. Good gravy. 375 for about 18 minutes. But I'm also going to put an egg wash on top. You can do that or you can do butter. But I think I'm going to do an egg wash this time. Most of these are going to be the bigger size, but I do have some that's a little smaller. Again, no great biggie. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, oh man, y'all. Just going to string him up. He don't realize he's got to go get the grill ready. He wants his dinner. Yeah, I hate cooking. Oh, I don't hate it. I'm just tired of it. That's what I do like making new things like this. You know what I mean? So most of these are going to be about, you know, I don't know. I'm trying to think of what size that would be. Some of these are about like a lime. Maybe about 1.5 inches in diameter. Some of these are a little more. Again, they're just going to bake faster, what have you. You can make them all great big. You know, you can make them all small. Whatever you want to do. It's your choice. Or you can do like me and just make them a variety. These I can tell are way bigger. So I'm going to take a little bit off of each one and make one out of that. I think it has 16. That'll give me 17. So, you know, I just had a couple that's a little bigger than most. Not bad. Okay. And this one, I'm going to take a little bit off of it. I might have made that one a little too small. too. All right, so if you do that, make sure that you kind of knead it back together when you put different pieces together. Just kind of knead it in your hand and then reshape. See how it gets sticky a little bit? But the first time I had to add flour. And so I now know that was probably, when you have to add more flour when you're doing this part, when you first pour it out of your old bowl, that changes the bread. And so it wasn't bad, it just wasn't great. It wasn't, I don't know, I didn't like it. So we're doing it again. All right. So like I said, some of these are a little smaller, some of them a little bigger. Nobody cares. You know. Think about the rolls you get at a restaurant sometimes. You know. All right. So I'm just kind of getting them a little bit like situated on the pan. Okay. And now what we're going to do, we're going to cover this up. We're going to put it back in my microwave and let it, do your wrap. Hang on. Because you want them to be warm. Let me get some more plastic wrap. I'm going to get this other, I think. Hold on. No, I got to, my other wrap, I got to fix the thing where it'll work with the cutter. Anyway, so we just want to put another, under there. So, got that under. One more on this side. And then, like I said, about 30-45 minutes until at least they're doubled in size. We're going to put them back in our warm spot. And so by the time I get my chicken prepped and ready to go on the grill, these will be ready to cook. And we'll have dinner. So, I will be back and I will show you what they look like. Let me see if I can get that tucked under good. Because you want it snug so there's no loss of heat. So, I did have 3 towels on there. Let's see. These are some old tea towels, y'all. Old. Like my mama and my nana's age of old. Alright. This one's a little thicker. This one was Nana's. I've got it sustained up. Alright. I will see y'all back in just a little bit. Bye. Okay, y'all. I'm back. Now, these are pretty. Let me hand you down. Alright. So these have rose about almost an hour-ish. You can let them rise for an hour to 2. No longer. Look how pretty. Alright. I did melt butter, and that's what I was fixing to grab. Now, we do want to brush the tops with melted butter. Okay. And I've got soft butter here, but now I've melted a little bit in this bowl. Okay. And we could do an egg wash, and I meant to do that. I had an egg, I was going to do it. Oh well. Here we go. We're going to do the butter. You could do an egg wash, which is just a beaten egg with a little touch of splash of water. And then that really does help it shine as well. Now when these come out, we're going to re-butter. Okay? And they're going in a 375 degree oven for somewhere between 15 plus minutes. 18 is what it said. But you just want them to be light golden brown, or however brown you like your rolls. And then hopefully these turn out tonight. If they don't, it's off with someone's head. And I am going to lightly salt the tops just to give them, you could do sea salt, but I don't have sea salt. Or I don't know where it's at. If I do, I probably do. Alright, so in the oven they go, and I'll see you back in a few. Okay, y'all. They look pretty. My oven, I have to turn my pan. Hang on. I gotta throw my chicken in here. We grilled it, and then my grill started falling apart. Why not? Okay, y'all. The time for the test. Let's butter them first. Butter. And they say to slather it on. They look good. They smell delicious. Now, if they'll have the texture they're supposed to, that will make me happy. I don't know if there's any such as too much butter. You do you. Now, I do use country crock because I like it. I also love parquet because the squeeze, to me, it's just got a sweeter flavor, but to each their own. Y'all, I've used all. I'm splashing it everywhere. Okay, because I'm so excited. I want to see. Y'all, this is a test. Are y'all hearing me? Here comes the magic. The truth. Let me raise that up. Put my pot holder up under there because this is glass. It's tempered, but still. Okay, y'all, I'm nervous. They're hot. Let me get a fork. Alright. That one don't look like it got butter. That one was butterless. It looked butterless, y'all. It can't be butterless. I got a whole bucket. I've sat out my butter to get room temp so I could do all this. You do want everything at room temp, your eggs and all. Say a little prayer. Oh my goodness. I think they're right. They're so hot. I don't know. That bottom, it's done, but it's, I don't know. I mean, it's done. It's just, y'all, they look good. They're so hot. The taste. Let me cool them down and I'll be back. Hang on. Okay. Y'all, they're good. They turned out good. They taste good. Oh my goodness. Y'all, you gotta make them. I'll be uploading this after a while or tomorrow. I'll do it on Sunday. That's today's Saturday. Roll Tide, by the way. Okay. I'm gonna say more butter. I like a lot of butter. You can make a honey butter, whipped butter. Y'all, there's so many things you can put on your rolls. These are so good. These are so good. And when I say they're good, I mean they're good. Bye. He said they taste good too. He said they taste better. I said I know. Y'all. Bye.